Whatever we need, God gives us. But the moment I start talking bad about other people, it means I'm moving into the headquarters of judging. And I say, okay, let's judge you if you deserve what you have. So how do I fix it? Here comes the big fixing. Nachman says you don't tell a patient they're sick unless you give them the medication. So here comes the fixing. When you give tzedakah, then you are mamshich, you draw upon yourself from the highest headquarters of love. And obviously tzedakah is not judging. It's deeper than anything in the world. He says, and you draw upon yourself, your energy suddenly comes from another place, even better than before. You know, God gives you everything you need, but it's still limited to what you need. But when you give tzedakah to someone who has no claims on you, right, then suddenly you break down all the walls. He says the best way to get rich is to give tzedakah. You see, again, like it's so heartbreaking. Let's say yesterday I gave a lot of tzedakah. The next day I talk Lashon Hara all day long. You know, like we'll learn later on. Reb Nachman says that there are moments when I could mamish become rich, and I spoiled it myself because at that moment I did something stupid. So just remember, stupid talk, arrogance, and saying bad things about others, mamish, like is in the way of this holy energy from heaven to reach me. But then it says there's one more thing we can restore all the pipeline. He says if you daven, if you pray with all your heart, mamish with all my heart, like really like I am like opening all my energy centers to God, then God also is opening all the energy centers in heaven for me. Oh, then there's one more thing, very, very important. You know, the deepest thing is to believe that mamish God gives me everything I need at the moment when I need it. Remember the story of the Yiter Kodesh? The mamish, there was no food in the house for 3 days. So his little boy came in, the Heilige Reb Nachman, and was crying so much. So Yiter Kodesh says, the way you're crying, he says, the way you're crying, it shows that you mamish hungry, right? And if you are really, really hungry, then there would be food in the house. So if there's no food in the house yet, that means you're not that hungry yet. At that moment, the Yiter Kodesh saw a piece of gold under the table. I mean, with the Yiter Kodesh, there's no miracle. I mean, mamish, he picked up of Yechiel and he kissed him 1,000 times. He says, please forgive me. I see you're really as hungry as he said. So when you can't bear it anymore, God has to help. So the thing is like this. If I mamish, never count my money. I just trust mamish God that whatever I need at that moment I'll have. How do I reach the level that I should really not count in a certain way? Then I get stuck. You see, I tell you what the Rosh Hashanah says. The Rosh Hashanah says there are two people who give tzedakah. One is for real, and one is for half real. He says, I have two rich people. And you know, at that time, in Russia, any policeman could arrest a Jew and ask for ransom, any amount, right? It's crazy, what they did to the Eden. So the Heilige Baal Shem Tov was always running around all over Russia to collect money to never ransom people out, you know. So he says I have two rich people. One of them, I come to him and I say I need 10,000 rubles, which in those days was maybe like $500,000 today. He says, okay, wait. He goes into his office, gets me out 10,000 rubles cash and gives it to me. So the Hashem says, how does it sound to you? Gewalt? No, it's not Gewalt. I have another one. I tell him, Gewalt, there's a Yid never sitting in prison. He doesn't ask me how much you need. He gives me the key to his safe. Take out what you need. This one's very hard. You see, if you, mamish, if you are completely so much trust God that you give tzedakah without judging, without looking. I know a lot of Chassidish how I wish it would be on the level. Whenever they saw a woman, put their hand in the pocket, or whatever there is, they take out. Got to be on that level, right? I have to tell you something. You know that Tzemach Tzedek was the grandson of the Alter Rebbe, the heading Alter Rebbe, and his father-in-law was the son of the Alter Rebbe. So he was the grandson on his father's side, but he was also a Rebbe because he was the son-in-law of the Middle Rebbe. So the Middle Rebbe passed away, and then the Tzemach Tzedek became the Rebbe. And there was this horse driver, a Russian peasant, little drunk, right? So the Chassidim asked the horse driver, how do you like the new Rebbe? He says, in Yiddish, he wasn't talking Yiddish, but the way I read the story, Oich mir ein Rebbe. This is a Rebbe. He says, he's not a Rebbe. The middle Rebbe was a Rebbe, but he's not. They said, since when are you such an expert on Rebbes? Why do you know he's not a Rebbe? He says, I'll tell you something. I'm driving the middle Rebbe. And from time to time it's cold, I need a little whiskey, right? So I said to the middle Rebbe, I'm cold, I'm freezing, I need some hot stuff. So you know what he does? Puts his hand in his pocket, and he doesn't look. He doesn't look how much. And he gives it to me. And he never asks for change. The new Rebbe puts his hand in his pocket, and he looks how much he has. And he says, how much you need? 5 rubles, 10 rubles. Here's 10 rubles, and bring me the change. That's a Rebbe, he says. It's a Gewalt story, Chaim. And here Reb Nachman says the deepest depths. We have a certain... You want so much money, right? Yeah, hot for money, right? He says my connection to money is a very hot thing. Right? How do you cool it off? Some people burning up for money, right? Not burning up for Shabbos, not for Yiddishkeit. Some are not even for their own children, right? Money, right? How do you cool it off? How do you put a little ice on it? So Reb Nachman says the only way of cooling it is when you give tzedakah. He says because this is so deep. Suddenly, my being hot for money is because it's so selfish. I want money for myself. But the moment I give tzedakah, my whole relationship to money changes. Because suddenly it's clear to me, I need money to help other people. Suddenly my relationship to money changes. And then my relationship to money changes, and then I'm happy with every penny I have. You see, a rich man is not happy with money. He wants money so much, but he's not happy with it because he wants 1,000 times more, right? He's always dreaming of the penny he doesn't have. But the moment I give tzedakah, my relationship changes, and mamish, I'm happy with the money I have. Right now I'm happy I had $1 to give the poor man. Then I come home and have $5, I buy food for Shabbos, right? Like, it's a heavenly relationship. And here comes the deepest Torah in the world. This is where Imam is the deepest. You know, when Adam and Eve and they ate the tree of knowledge, that's for Shalom, you know what we know, God, so to speak, not blessed Adam, just there, this is sweat of your, how do you think, there's a pepper, brown. That means, Mama, she's sweating, you work so hard and you get so money. Because, you know what the tree of knowledge is? Tree of knowledge is, I want to know what's right and wrong. And you know why she ate the tree of knowledge? Because she liked the apple. That means that I am in the center of everything. You know, it's the tree of knowledge is, I know what's right and what's wrong. I like the apple. I'm this, I'm that. The tree of life, you're not the center of the world. Tree of life is God is the center. I meet a poor man, suddenly he is the center. And then the money I get, see, if I'm grabbing money for myself, I have to sweat for it. And even when I get it, you know what means a curse? That even when I get it, there's no blessing in it. And I always want more, whatever I have nothing. You know, sometimes you look at people, they have so much, but they're empty inside. You know, the tree of knowledge has a lot, but it's so empty. And here, I want you to know what Shem Tov's Torah. The Baal Shem Tov says, what is the tree of knowledge? What's the tree of life? The tree of knowledge comes to you and says, I know you're looking for something. Yeah. He has a closed hand. And he says, I have it. And he runs away. The tree of knowledge. You're running like crazy. Then you grab the tree of knowledge, you open it, it's empty. Nothing in it. When you get it, you see it's nothing. The tree of life is the other way around. He says, I have something for you. It doesn't run away. You open it, and it's 2 million times more than you promised. It's so good. This is awesome. He says, you know, everything, Tzedakah is like a sacrifice in the Holy Temple. We don't have the Holy Temple right now, but whenever I take away $1 for myself, and I give it to a poor man, it's like bringing a sacrifice in the Holy Temple. Right? Giving up something for God. But then if you remember, there was also incense. Incense was the deepest. Incense was taking heaven and earth together. If you remember, by incense, there was one herb which has a terrible smell, but when it got together with the other 10, not only it wasn't smelling bad, this terrible, evil smelling kind, whatever it was, an herb or, what was it? What? How do you say it? Yeah? What is it, an herb? How do you get it? Oh. Yeah. Proud of you, darling. It's, in Hebrew it's called chalbana. Whatever it is, this chalbana, as much as it is smelling bad by himself, by itself, when it puts together with the other, makes the other smell better. And you know what it is? Like, my running after money smells bad. But the moment I'm giving tzedakah, you know, really on that level, like putting my hand in the pocket, is not the sacrifice, it's like incense. It takes everything bad and makes it smell so beautiful. Okay, you worship it, it's idol worship. Not much idol worship. Right? People say, oh, I don't worship idols, I don't fall down before a piece of wood. Yeah, but you bow down to $1. And sadly enough, I mean the whole world, basically, they're pagan. Most people are pagan. And what's paganism all about? Paganism, you know what pagan is? What's an idol? An idol is a god who doesn't move. Right? Static. Doesn't move. Right? An idol, you remember like Avraham Avinu, an idol doesn't listen to prayer, can't move, right? But you see, the moment your God is like an idol, then everything goes wrong. Because the doors of prayer are closed. You know, praying is like this person was sick, now he's well, right? Everything was wrong in my life, everything is good. It has to move. But if you worship something which cannot move, so your whole life, and also, an idol has no love, just is. The dollar is, and I worship it. The dollar has no love for you. There's no connection to you. Like, I believe, some people want money, more money in the bank, but they're not even connected to that money, right? They just worship it. They'll do anything for it. But if you just can break it down, if you can really absolutely stop worshiping money. Reb Nachman says, don't underestimate it. You have to work on it all your life. Really, to get it out from our system. You know what's the whole world? Everything is for money, right? I'm religious for money. I'm not religious for money. I'm good for money. I'm bad for money. Remember what the Tzedakah says? Moshe Rabbeinu was looking for judges, who hate money, who cannot be bought for money. So the Gemara says he couldn't find it. You know what the Tzedakah says? For money you can find it also. It's like a wow, no? Yeah. Hard. What is the Beis Hamikdash all about? I mean, basically we believe in God. But I want you to know the Beis Hamikdash is the place where there's only God. Only God. And sure, I worship money, but let's face it, I also worship God, right? If Shabbos I put on film, I learn, I do everything else. But in one corner of my life, I'm a little bit of a pagan. But if I break this down, if I stop being an idol worshipper, then something happens to me that my inside becomes like the Holy Temple. The Holy Temple. And then my God knowledge, my people knowledge, my life knowledge. Because the Mashiach is coming, it says, how does it say? V'yeda kapor katif v'altar. Now it's like so clear to me. Now that God is taking care of the world. It's so clear to me that humanly speaking, God's eyes are on me all the time. You know what lonely is? That I don't believe really that God is watching. And if a mamish clear is mamish clear to me, that God is mamish taking care of me all the time, that I'm not lonely. Hey, unbelievable. Okay, believable. This is one story which I told most of you a lot of times, but it's so good to know. Some people like workaholics, true, then that's the same amount. Because on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, it's decreed how much you should have. Imagine I would be up there in heaven and I would see so much money will be given to me this year. And I'd ask the angels how many hours I have to work. It'll be a few hours a day. You don't have to break your bones over it because God doesn't want you to get sick over it. It'll be a few hours and you have it, right? But if I don't believe that, and I think every hour I work I get more money for it, I'm in bad shape, right? And they think not only that. Have you ever seen those people who work overtime day and night? Have you watched their faces? Are their faces shining or their faces dark? Remember, the Zohar says there are only two faces in the world. Anpin Haren, the face full of light, and Anpin Chashuchin, face full of darkness. You know, you walk in to Wall Street, there's people there, their eyes are falling out watching the screen. Are they shining while they're looking? Dark. Choshech Mitzrayim. Matas Choshech. So now it's the plague of darkness. You know what the Torah says plague of darkness is? They didn't see each other. It's unbelievable, the depth of the Torah. Dark is when you don't see anybody else. That's the deepest darkness. And you sit there, you think, I need the money. But imagine if you know that the Russian gives you exactly, it's what's decreed in heaven how much you should have, and you'll have it, you work a little bit, God wants us to work. Not you send it to us and check every week, but God wants us to work. Because the deepest test in life is to know that God wants me to work, and yet I have to know it's not my work, it's actually the money. Remember the Torah of the Kodesh, the manna is still coming down from heaven. And the only thing is we don't see it. But it's really manna from heaven. And you think something unbelievable, it's good to remember. The Heilige B'nai Yisachar, the Heilige Reb Tzvi the Melech, called him a rich man. But the man is a good one, right? A holy one. He says to him, do me a favor, give me an exact account how much money you made this year. Let's assume, he says, $500,000. He says, do me a favor, but mamash for real, give me an account how much you spent. He makes an account, he can't believe it. I spent $2 million. Where did you get the $1.5 million? They did. He says, you know why? Because you spent so much money on Shabbos. Shabbos gives it back. But when Shabbos gives it back to you, it's invisible. It's not in your books. You can't find it anywhere. But suddenly, after you make an account, you realize you spent more than I have. Unbelievable. See, Shabbos is invisible. You cannot, Shabbos is not, I walk on Broadway. If you have good eyes, you see it's Shabbos, right? But if you have coarse eyes, you don't see it's Shabbos. So he says, if you receive your money with a face full of light, then you are connected to the, unlimited funds in heaven. Because like, we should be privileged, Because the moment I know it's not me who works for the money. God gives it to me, but He wants me to work. Then I stop worrying, and my face is shining all the time. At the moment my face is shining, you see, remember Reb Nachman says all the time, heaven This world is only a mini heaven. Whatever is in heaven is here, and whatever is here is in heaven. If you see a person with a dark face krächzing all the time, are you very happy to be in their presence? When you get over it as fast as possible, right? Someone is mamish full of joy, you like to be with them. God is the same way. When someone comes krächzing, he looks bad. God says, oh, another one, Don't have strength for you anymore. But if you're mamish anfin heuren, the Heilige Sansa, there was this big Rebbe, I'm sure, the Heilige Rebbe Shaile Christina. And the Rebbe, he would give out thousands of books for charity, and nobody knew how he got it. But he got it. So, the Tzaddik would say, Shaya is my Rothschild. What's the difference between Shaya and Rothschild? Rothschild always has money. Shai also has money. There are thousands of stories of Shai Castillo. Unbelievable. But then something very special. In other words, he says like this: there is dead money and there's living money. Dead money is if you work so hard for it, because let's face it, we are living for money, right? Money buys everything. In fact, that's the way God created the world, right? When you live from dead money, then your face is dead. When you're living from living money, your face is shining. This is so deep, like your level of joy depends on from where you get your money. If you get living money, right, and then with this living money I buy myself a piece of bread, then I'm full of joy, right? It's living bread. It's living lax, living bagel, right? If I get myself a little dead money, the bagel is dead, the lax is dead, and I look like I'm just a tourist in the cemetery, right? Then Reb Nachman goes deeper. He says there are idol worshippers. There are thousands of idols, and they worship one idol. When you worship money, then you're worshipping all the idols of the world. Whatever idol that was ever created, you're bowing down to it. Now this is really deep stuff. What do I do if I just am so deep into worshipping money and I can't get out of it? Most of us. We mamish believe that money is everything, right? We mamish believe that this money I can have everything. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Ah. Yeah, good. Can you... Okay, wait, let me just... I'm sure that
Do you know why he asked you? He's doing this today?
No. Brother Michael is the highest.
Because that's my life.
Yeah. So it's good.
Should I wait, hold my question?
Yeah, no, okay, we are open for questions right now.
So, you say that the Zohar talks about the two faces of darkness and light. Well, we were just talking about this the other day. Is it really, mamish, that cut and dry that there can't be any hidden people that look like light but are really dead, and the people that look like they're dark but really have real hidden neshumas? That, you look at them and they say, oh, they're really cold, or they're really... And yet, underneath that, there's real mamish spirit and life, and so I'm just curious about what you have to say about
Okay, this is a very deep, I really don't know the answer. But, let's assume that this person has a dark face, but underneath he has a face full of... So after talking to this person for 5 minutes, you'll see where there's a light shining.
Right.
And if you talk to a person for a long time...
It looks light, and it's really...
Yeah, I tell you, you know what Zohar Kodesh says? Something unbelievable.
The old...
Rochel and Leah. Can you imagine Leah, God forbid, the mother of Mashiach being ugly? And also the Torah says the eyes of Leah, Rakoseli enough, stupidly, chutzpahdik enough. I mean, the way it's translated in English that Rochel was beautiful, Leah was not. Doesn't make sense. And also, something even deeper. If Leah was really ugly, I mean, how come Yaakov didn't feel it right away, Do you know that Rochel and Leah were only 9 months apart? Yes. Her mother gave birth to Rochel, and while which got pregnant again with Leah. What? No, I mean first with Leah, I'm sorry. Then Rochel, right? Do you know something? They absolutely, on a figure level, they were both beautiful. Shabbos. Because let's say if Rochel was slim and Leah weighed 600 pounds, when you stand with the woman of 600 pounds under the chuppah, you don't ask her name, You know it's Leah, right? So, those were absolutely beautiful. The difference was only that Rochel, Mamash, when you saw her, you couldn't believe somebody so beautiful at the first second. Leah, you had to look a long time. And then suddenly you realize that she is utterly beautiful. And you cannot believe how come I didn't notice it right away. See, the way the Zohar Kodesh translates, the Eine Lerak is not the eyes of Leah. But when you look at Leah, you have to look for a long time to see a beautiful shape. Let's hope this is it. Now ask who it is. Who is it? Okay, tell her I love it the most. Tell her where will she be in the next hour and a half in the middle of learning. No, I'll call him because I don't want to have to pick up his brother question.
You want to give him a message? The learning's going to take an hour. Okay. Look.
Mom is drowning in idol worship. Then you have to start giving tzedakah. That's the only way which breaks down the wall. Because the moment, if you are the center, if you are collecting dead money because you're the center, everything is you, then the money you get is for yourself. It's again dead money. But if you take the money which you could use for yourself and you give it to somebody else, when you change, I'm sorry, what? Then see, it's not only changing this $1 I give to the poor, but then suddenly I change the headquarters from where I get the money. It's like, if you would be sensitive and holy enough to feel it, you would feel, after I give tzedakah, the money in my pocket feels very different. something else. But I want to just finish with Leah. The Ein Elei Rakas doesn't mean that the eyes of Leah were not so beautiful. You know, Rach means sometimes you need patience. You're soft, you have patience. The Ein Elei Rakas, the eyes who look at Leah, you need a lot of patience until you see how beautiful she is. That means I see Leah in the crowd. I say, oh, good yontif Leah. Then I see her again, or I look at her for a long time, and I say, ay, ay, ay. She is mamish beautiful, right? You see, Leah is the mother of Mashiach, of the Baal Tshuva, and Rochel is the mother of the Tzaddik. What's a Tzaddik? You look at a Tzaddik, you see it's a Tzaddik, right? Right away. See the Baal Tshuva, never. No two ways about it, right? You look at the Baal Tshuva, he looks spiritually dirty, filthy, not so beautiful. But then you look at them for a long time and say, I could bow. They're special, right? What else? Who wants to ask something fast than me? Yeah, what do you say? Okay, famous first, yeah. Yeah.
In the beginning, I kept wondering when you're saying, okay, there's stupid talk, arrogance, and less than harass keeps you from getting what you need. And Tzedakah brings it down. So how do you explain these real, Tzadikim that are walking around? I don't feel like they're talking less than harass. They're not arrogant. They're humble. The poor little tailors.
Yeah.
The real Tzadikim that barely can feed their 10 kids.
Yeah. Say, you know what? You're asking the absolute biggest question in the world. Because according to this Torah, the Chofetz Chaim, they never spoke Lashon Hara, and he was not arrogant, he should have been the biggest millionaire in the world, right? But there is only one factor which becomes before and after. We are not here for the first time. And we don't know what we have to face, right? Could be maybe in this lifetime I don't talk Lashon Hara, and I'm not arrogant, and I really could be rich. But last lifetime I was rich and I didn't give a penny, right? So this lifetime God doesn't give me that. I don't know. You see, I tell you something unbelievable. Remember I was telling you. What did the Baal Shem Tov bring down to the world? Before the Baal Shem Tov were also Tzadikim, holy people. But they thought the most important thing, I asked him, is this salami kosher? Should I make this? Anything of today. The Baal Shem Tov brought down to the world, you cannot be a Rebbe unless you know what they did last lifetime. You cannot, what they know what you did last lifetime, right? And you know what Ramoshe Bentov told me? Ramoshe Bentov, this brother. Yeah. He says to me, I want you to know that all the divorces today are not because of this lifetime. It is because they're still angry at each other from last lifetime. It's unbelievable. Okay, let me just fix this. Is it Federal Express? Yeah.
But the husband can be forever. We're ready for it.
Hey! Unbelievable. I have no way of thanking you. I want you to know you really saved my life, brother. He is the best. Yeah. He is cute like sugar. Thinks he's a big Rebbe, comes to visit the Holy Sanza. So he says to the Holy Sanza, the Sanza is about 150 years ago. He says to the Sanza, it's heartbreaking. Last generation we had Rebbes who know what everybody did last lifetime. Today we don't have anybody. Sanza didn't say a word. Friday night. After the feast was over, and this Rebbe left, and the Heilige Rebbe Golitzer was 8 years old, one of the sons of the Sanza. says to his father, what a chutzpah. He says, even I know that. Gewalt. This is not to be believed, right? You remember the story, without getting about, someone mentioned it to Shabbos, the sons was limping. And the most heartbreaking thing is, why he was limping? When he was 4 years old, some adult got angry at him for something and kicked him in the foot and broke the foot, and it never healed. Was bleeding all his life. Someone just... Anyway, so, can you imagine the sons, it would have not been limping where he could be, So the Shinova says about this person who broke his foot, he says, he's in forever, down there, But how cruel to kick a little boy of 4 and break his foot, It's a strong kick, right? Anyway, so you remember when the sons met his soulmate, she didn't want to marry him. So there are 2 stories about the mirror, but then I heard in Boba something added to it. He said to her, I promise you we'll have 5 sons, we'll have clear eyesight from one corner of the world to the other. All the sons were like, not from this world, Anyway, so you see, sometimes we don't know what we did last time. Maybe this time I'm really good. I deserve to be rich, but then I'm still fixing something from last lifetime. The only thing is I can hopefully God should put it under my nose to fix everything. And you see, I'll tell you something else, which all the Rebbes say. Like sometimes we give a loan to somebody and they don't pay back. And we're angry. But you don't know if you didn't take a loan from this person last lifetime. Right? And something prevents them from paying a debt because they know that they really don't owe it to you. Right? I'll tell you an unbelievable story, which I'm sure you know, most of you, and if not, from now on. The Heilige Baal Shem Tov comes to visit a rich man. Very rich man. And the rich man is so proud. He says, I have a big farm. I have, cows, horses. Then they see a little horse, mamash, a tiny little horse. The Baal Shem Tov says, could you give me this horse? And he says, Rebbe, I'd give you everything in my house, but not this horse. Because this horse is the best worker. It works more than all the horses in the world. Gewalt, this horse is so fast, and I can't tell you how good the horse is. But it's okay. Then he says to the Baal Shem, I'll give you anything else. So the Baal Shem says, show me everything. They go to his office, and there the Baal Shem sees a file. He says, what kind of a file is this? He says, this is the file of people who owe me money and never pay. Oh. Shh. So, Baal Shem says, can I have a look? Sure, not. I gave up on them. The Baal Shem Tov pulls out, mamash, like $1 million, right? 1 million rubles. He says, what happened to this person? Why didn't he pay you? Oh, he says, he died and that's it. Baal Shem Tov says, would you mind giving me this note that he owes you money? He says, yeah, take it. Baal Shem Tov takes it, mamash, tears it apart. 2 minutes later, someone comes running from the stable. Oh, Gewalt, the little horse died. But Shem says, don't you understand? This little horse was in the neshama of this person who owes you $1 million. And he came to this world to work for the $1 million. But this neshama was so much in pain, I couldn't see the pain anymore. So now that I released him of the debt, it's okay, right? It's awesome, right?
But Jewish can be animal like after?
What? It's what?
Get that can be animal?
An emergency,
No, because don't let. I tell you why. Because I've been once in California, in Moshe Crown, if you know him.
Who?
Moshe Crown. Anyway, he's really big Mechubar. And he's from Baghdad, he lives in California. And he can walk, he
hypnotizes, yeah.
The person. And very scary. I didn't do 2 weeks. 2 weeks I did, even on the chair I cannot sleep.
He hypnotized you, yeah?
No, I prayed, so I did it. I get to this and then I said no. But anyway, I've been there he did that to some Israeli woman, and she started to speak Russian. And she's from Morocco, she doesn't know one word in Russian. She doesn't even wear Russia in the map. When she wake up, we talk with her, and we tell her, you spoke Russian. We spoke Russian. And anyway, he gets to the point she did Russian like he said. And then I asked many questions, but he said one question I remember, we asked if it's possible we become the animal. We said, no, Krishna. And he said, men like before can be men.
You see,
like
let me tell you something.
It's very scary.
Yeah, but listen to me. You see, by the Hindus or by other religions, you become an animal, you become a cockroach, you become a mouse. And you have all kinds of life forms. By us, no. God doesn't punish you to become a mouse. But this was not punishment. He owes money and he has to pay off. So there is 2 ways of doing it. Or he comes back as a human being and has to work hard and goes through all the pain of being a human being. I want you to know, Reb Nachman says that in heaven they ask you if you want to come back. In heaven they don't give decrees on you whatever you don't want. Mamash, they ask you. And Reb Nachman always like put a vow on his chassidim, before you agree to anything when you go up there, tell them you want to see me first. Gewalt. Reb Nachman says, so all the chassidim, to the people who always ask me what to do, you are safest because in heaven you can always say, I never did anything without my Rebbe. I want to be to my Rebbe also. Here comes the end, the cutest end. So the chassidim say, so what's going to be? He said, listen to me. I'll be sitting in the Gan Eden, let's say next to the Baal Shem, right? And you are just come up to heaven, and they don't know what to do with you, and they give you a few options, right? If you want to come down to the world, or you want to go to hell, sometimes to cleanse you, so what do you want to do? So you say, I got to see my Rebbe, right? So they let you up, to Gan Eden, and you start talking to me. He says, would I be a Rebbe if I let you out? So they come to collect you, I say, I'm sorry. This is Gewalt, Yeah.
It's written somewhere, maybe in Pirkei Avos, that even the most evil of person has a neshama.
Sure.
How is most evil person? What you're saying is how does he? It's a choice of whether he wants to change or not. To connect to the neshama. How does someone do that? This evil person. I mean, he has this type of a neshama.
Okay, so I'll tell you. Let's assume this person did terrible things and he comes back, right? Okay, I'll tell you a story from the Baal Shem. Someone comes to the Holy Baal Shem and he says, my life is so in disorder, everything goes wrong and I'm just can't bear it anymore. The Baal Shem says you have to go to Vilna, and there is a Yid, Jew by the name Reb Zandel, and he can help you. And in those days the Jewish communities were not like today's 3 million Jews in New York, 1 million Jews in Los Angeles. The community was not so big. Comes back to Vilna, goes into the Beis Medrash, says, I need to see someone named Reb Zandel. So the 2 old Yidden sitting there and they say, there is no Reb Zandel here. So I say, this can't be. The Baal Shem sent me, he says, is maybe an older man Reb Zandel? He says, yes. They say 100 years ago there was someone he was named Reb Zandel. the most terrible person in the world ever. He did mamish wrong to everybody, and thank God he's dead. He comes back to the Baal Shem, he says, there is no living Reb Zanvil. The Baal Shem says, you are that Reb Zanvil. And you're complaining to God that he is bad to you. He says, what you deserve is not even the little good you have. But God has compassion upon you. And,
So how do we find out who we are?
You see what it is. Even the Rebbes don't tell you. You know, by Moshe Rabbeinu, just this Shabbos, it says, B'chol beisi ne'emonhu, in my whole house he's trustworthy. That means, you know what a trustworthy person is? He knows and he doesn't tell. What are you going to say, Danny?
You're not supposed to find out who you were in the other lifetime?
No, I mean, you see the Rebbes, all those big Rebbes, right? They tell you what to do. They know it's good for you because what you did last time, but they won't tell you. Because you don't find out. All the people who tell you they know what you did, it's fake. Because I tell you something, it's only given to the mamish, to the tzadikim of serving God day and night, right? You know, you for $10, $50 a session regression, and I'm sitting there, and mamish is sitting there. And they tell me what they did last lifetime. They don't know what they do. This person doesn't even know what they're doing this lifetime, right? You see, it's my profession to take. But again, I don't want to knock it. Maybe by mistake they know the truth. I don't know. But I wouldn't pay $50 for it. If they pay me $50, I listen to them.
Well, the understanding is that comes through high spirit, not through the person.
Yeah, I understand. But the person needs vessels for it. And do you know what kind of vessels you need that God should reveal to you something about another person? It's more than meditating, more like a little bit rolling your eyes or being holy or be a vegetarian. It's more than that. I mean, I'll tell you, Rhoda, I was around a little bit, When I lived in San Francisco for nearly 10 years, I saw all the swamis, all the yogis, and all those. They're very holy people. I tell you, someone says to me, why can't you, my swami, right? I say they're cute people, but I wouldn't trust them as my neshama. What my neshama needs is so much more, right? So much more. Yes, awesome, What do I know, right? Maybe I'm wrong, If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, yeah. Wait, one second. Diana wanted to say something.
When you're talking about the ability to give, I was really struck by the story last night. A friend of mine was one of the 500 people who went to Washington to work on the Clinton program for health.
Yeah.
And he told me the story, which was really an extraordinary story about how much Clinton truly cares about a moral policy to help everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, from the bottom of his heart, that's what he cared about. So when they were interviewing people who explained, what happened to them in the crisis of health, and like there was one person who had $5 million in bills because their son had a brain tumor and had gone into bankruptcy and had stolen and done everything just to pay this. Actually, it was my friend who said to this person, if we could give you the money for your son, what would you give up? And she, the mother, although she had stolen and done all these things for her son, had no answer. And this happened again and again and again. When they interviewed the people who had these extraordinary losses, no one would give up anything. So the big problem now with the plan is no one will give up. And because no one will give up anything of what they want, there's no way for the plan to work. Which is all about what you're talking about.
It's unbelievable.
And it's really unbelievable. So what I was going to say to you today is, when I first came here, I was thinking we should pray for this man because he's truly doing his good. He called together 500 people. And you should know that every person paid every bit of their expenses. The government paid nothing. They all left their jobs for 2 months to work on this plan, paid everything, got nothing back except for the wish to really give us something that would change our lives for many, many years.
And so I thought we should pray for him, but the problem is so much deeper. It's for everyone's soul, because it has to be that everyone understands that something has to be truly given up, as you're saying, in terms of, if you don't give it away, it can't come back to us, and no one wants to give up anything, even though they've been through everything. You would think they would understand that they have to. So I just was, so touched by this understanding, and I think I'll write to him about what you said, because I think if he has to speak to the country, he's got to speak to the country about the fact that every single person has to give up in order for there to be assurance for everybody to live, because it's making everyone bankrupt at this point.
Kavod Harav, I wanted back for what the lady asked, and you say that you don't know and you're not allowed to go.
I'm going to say, I don't know, you see, it doesn't...
We know Baal Shem Tov, Alav Shalom, when he look on person, we know.
Yeah.
We know that. When he look on person, he know his soul.
Yeah.
We know it. It's right down, so people know.
Yeah, you see, I wouldn't swear that those people don't know. I don't know. But my inside tell me that it takes more, And it doesn't sound right to me. God doesn't want you to know what you did last time, obviously. Because God would tell us. Let us know. Then I pay $50 and suddenly I know it. I don't think so.
Shlomo, sometimes they do hypnosis, but they don't tell you. You come up with it.